I'm Dr.Erin Ash, and I'm an associate professor and director of graduate studies in the Department of Communication. I think my students would say that I use a lot of examples in class. So especially because I teach courses related to pop culture and political communication and media, that examples make a lot of sense and they can help spark a lot of discussion. So, whether that is a class like pop culture that's meant to be discussion-based, if we're discussing some concept, to bring in an example is a good way to get, us all talking and thinking. But even when I teach, theory courses where sometimes theory can be a little bit heavy, but if you can make the theory kind of come to life with an example. For me, the most rewarding thing that can happen at the end of a class is for students to tell me nobody will watch TV and movies with me anymore. Because again, teaching those media kind of criticism courses that are meant to get students thinking critically about the things that they consume every day in this media saturated environment, that what I really get out of it is students who come back and say, I was watching this show and it made me think about this that happened in class, or that we talked about. So enhancing media literacy and having people go back into the world as critical media consumers. And then of course, just seeing students succeed and go on to do, really amazing and wonderful things and keep in touch. You'll be, again, a critical thinker about the things that you read and consume. So I've even done like a critical thinking institute on campus. That was the summer before last, talking about how to enhance critical thinking skills in classes. Students who are most successful in my class are ones that engage. So engagement both in terms of the material, so reading the things that are assigned, but also, putting thought into assignments and participating in class, asking questions. I typically reach out, ask, so maybe there's an exam and someone doesn't do too hot. I'd always put a note at the top, like, come talk to me, so we can see what's going on and make sure, that they have some strategies moving forward, or if it's something that's going on, outside of class, that I can be aware of that and be supportive and help in whatever way I can. So definitely just trying to have a conversation. Well, online classes for sure have required me to be more organized, which is not a bad thing. So, there's definitely a lot more planning that goes into an online course. So one thing I've started this semester is like a weekly quiz on the material, since I don't have that face-to-face time to make sure, I can't get nonverbals about whether people are getting things. So I think there's more opportunities to kind of check in some ways, in a more formal, scientific way, I suppose. I really like building connections with students, and so not having that face-to-face time is really challenging. It's hard to kind of have I want to respect students' privacy, obviously, so I don't require cameras or anything like that, but then it's hard to not see, again, any nonverbals or facial expressions or know whether anyone thought my jokes were funny. So it's hard to build that kind of sense of community, I think, when we're online. I actually started gardening. So I planted some flowers around my house. I actually planted a couple trees this weekend. So I've been just trying to make my space more beautiful. Just those informal interactions that you have with people, I really miss a lot, and I think I took for granted. Just being social when somebody, walks by your office, or having students, both former and current, see your door open and stop by to say hello, or just talking to my to the other Clemson faculty about things that are going on. So just being in my office or walking around Strode or Daniel and having informal interactions. I just miss being social, pretty much. My research area is in media effects. So it's like a social scientific kind of psychological approach to understanding how media influences people. Specifically, I study representation of different social groups, so like racial and gender stereotyping, and not only kind of the negative aspects, but also where we can find avenues to counter stereotypes and reduce prejudice and bias. So in news, entertainment, across media platforms, I would say that I just really love the people at Clemson. Both, again, my colleagues, the other Clemson faculty, who are all fantastic people, and then students too. It's something that I was told when I came for my interview many years ago, and that we tell people who come interview now that the students at Clemson are hands down the best, so engaged and enthusiastic and hardworking and bright. And, everybody kind of thinks, yeah, of course, everyone says that about their students, but it really is true. When I came, I was like, wow, okay, that they really are. And then even new faculty will say, you guys weren't lying about the students. They really are fantastic. So the people, for sure. I am very spoiled by small town living. So I moved here from State College, Pennsylvania, which is where Penn State is. Also kind of middle of nowhere, rural area. So no traffic. That would definitely be it. That and just again, kind of small towns. Everywhere you go, you know somebody. It's a pretty small community. I have a daughter who, grew up doing all the rec sports, and so we'd see friends from sports and school and whatever it was. Pretty much every event you go to, knowing everybody. Is when I got the job. Like, that's definitely one of the best moments of my life. So I'm from South Carolina. I'm from Charleston. My daughter and I moved to Pennsylvania so that I could go to graduate school. We were there for 5 years, so away from family. And people compare the academic job market kind of to the NFL, where you just get drafted somewhere, depending on what, the teams or the university's needs are. So you can really end up anywhere. I mean, I applied to jobs in like Wyoming. So when I got the interview at Clemson and I came to campus and I loved it, when Dr. Mazur, who's now the department chair, called, he was the one that offered me the job. My response was, is this real life? I was like, yes, this is real life. So really just a dream job for me to be back in South Carolina at a university like Clemson, which is such a great school, a research school with a great reputation and great people. I just feel really fortunate to be part of the Clemson community. So I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I don't really do much with sports. I used to attend a lot of different events when my daughter, she just turned 15 Friday actually, but we've lived here we moved here in 2013. So when she was younger, we used to go to all the, we go to baseball and we go to basketball, football sometimes is a little overwhelming. But I definitely miss being able to take her to games. Now she's a teenager, so she could really, she would rather do anything but go somewhere with me. So I don't really have any game day traditions these days, but I have a lot of great game day memories. So my biggest piece of advice for communication students would be to take advantage of all the opportunities that you have in the department, for sure. Or not all of them, but the ones that you're really drawn to. We have lots of internships. We have the social media listening center that you can get involved with. We have, research opportunities and creative inquiries and so many things you can do. But anything to be able to engage, and then also to, engage with faculty members. Like I said, we're all very nice people and we love students. We really do. So trying to engage with faculty and build relationships, I think, is a great thing to take advantage of.